A young boy named Angelo Lagusa from the Lagusa family lives with his family consisting of his little brother Luce, his mother Alina, and his father Testa. One night, his friend Cortio leaves for his house, and his father returns home from work. Testa calls for his sons, but Angelo and Luce hide in a wardrobe to surprise their father. Suddenly, Vincent Vanetti and two other men enter their house and demand Testa for a ledger. But when Testa makes reasons for not having it, Vincent and others attack them. Watching his mother getting beaten, Luce could not control his emotions and rushes toward them, while Angelo remains in the wardrobe. Vincent eventually kills them all and leaves the house. Angelo grabs some courage to get out, but watches his family dead. He eventually runs away while one of the men tries to chase him but fails. Angelo informs Cortio about the issue by going to his home. Cortio comforts him, assuring that they are now both brothers from now on. The following day, while Cortio still sleeps, Angelo escapes from the town, leaving Cortio behind. 7 years have passed, and Angelo has been living as Olivio Bruno. But one day, when he receives a post telling him the names of his family's killer, he returns to his homeland. Meanwhile, Cortio has created High-Kick Wine and runs a wine factory out of his home. Angelo meets him as he returns to the town and asks him to sell his booze to a family for a large amount of money, as they are brothers. Afterwards, both of them go to a bar to sell their booze and meet two men interested in buying it. Meanwhile, a man named Fango, looking for a person Nero Vanetti, enters the bar and tries to attack them, but they somehow manage to escape with the investors, where one of the men reveals to be Nero Vanetti. The following night, Vano Clementi and one of their young runners, Arturo Tronco, encounter Orco's men due to the continuous compromise of their smuggling lines. They got their hands on Tronco and killed him instantly, while Vano somehow manages to escape. Afterwards, Don Vanetti's hosts a wedding between Don's daughter and Ronaldo Galassia from Galassia's family to keep themselves strong against the Orco family. On the other hand, Nero invites Angelo and Cortio to the ceremony to sell them booze. When Vincent calls for Nero to talk about family politics, Barbaro takes them to the wedding ceremony. Later, while eating with Nero, Vano insists on taking revenge against the Orco family by killing Fango, but Nero informs him that they cannot fight against them as his father wants an alliance with all families. However, they can use someone else as a trigger. Vano chooses Angelo for this task, but Angelo agrees under one condition: to vet him in their family. Meanwhile, Cortio is confused about Angelo's movements, to which Angelo explains Vincent, Nero, and Vano Clementi killed his family. Later, as he goes to kill Fango, he somehow manages to enter the house, but when he is about to kill Fango, he escapes, jumping over the buildings. Suddenly, Vano arrives there and captures Fango's assistant Serpent, who killed Tronco. He takes him to the nearby graveyard, and when he kills Serpent, Angelo also kills Vano, revealing his true identity as the son of Testa Lagusa. Angelo returns to Cortio's apartment and tells him about the situation. When Nero gets to know about Vano's death, he gets suspicious of him for killing Vano. Moreover, Serpent's body got stolen, and Nero gives him a chance to prove his honesty by finding Serpent's body. Cortio goes to Serrato's bar and tells him that Nero has ordered Angelo to kill him, as according to them, he is the man behind Vano's death. In the state of terror, Serrato tells him that he became greedy and sold Serpent's body to Scusa. Angelo appears there and threatens Serrato to take him to Serpent's body. On the other hand, Scusa arrives at Vanetti's residence and tells him about Vano's death, and he has died in an attempt to kill Serpent, and he has Serpent's dead body. As Scusa goes to collect Serpent's dead body, Vanetti decides to send Nero out of town, as his enemies will not sit quietly. Meanwhile, Fango is out looking for Serpent's body and follows Nero after watching his car. They reach Scusa's place, where he has Serpent's dead body, and when Fango arrives, they get into a fight but escape successfully. Later, when Freight tells Nero he has to leave the town because of the incident, Angelo offers himself to accompany him, as Fango will not let him live in peace. Nero remembers his memories with Vano when he was worried about Nero's sister for marrying a person from Galassia family. Meanwhile, Nero and Angelo run out of the town and travel from one place to another while an assassin trails them. During their journey, Nero has started trusting Angelo again, as they stop to a restaurant to have a small meal. Late, they set out a camp and stay there drinking all time. Nero tells Angelo about the incident, when he and others killed the Lagusa family. Moreover, he says that they were 4 men who attacked the family. They run out of gas when they go to Kota town later, and stop at a local drugstore to phone Barbaro. Suddenly, the assassin Mad Max shows up and makes an attempt to kill Nero, but he escapes after hitting him with a car. As they got no vehicle, they entered a nearby farmhouse to escape from the assassin. With the daggers in his possession, the assassin returns and attempts to murder them this time. Although Nero shoots him, the bizarre creature is unaffected. To protect Nero and Angelo, the owner of the farmhouse suddenly rushes toward them and shoots the assassin in the head. Following their failure to eliminate Fango, the Orco family requests a ceasefire. For For some parties, though, the circumstances turn out to be less than ideal. Barbaro tells Nero to meet him in 2 days before going home. With Cortio's assistance, Nero creates a novel brand of moonshine based on Barbaro's concept. When he returns to the Venetti's residence, Freight and Ronaldo prepare their men to kill him, but they are once again unsuccessful because of Volpe's allegiance. Tigre, Nero's capo, is wounded while evading the Venettis. Barbaro, Nero, and the others must find a way to treat the wound, but the Venettis have placed the district under lockdown. Don Vanetti realizes that Freight's strings are being pulled by Ronaldo when he hears Ronaldo say that Galacia wants Freight to run the Venettis. That night, Angelo takes a pack of booze in Cortio and crosses the River of Lamentation to enter Grancio's bar. As he meets Grancio, he gives him a sample of his new booze and meets Fango. Angelo offers Fango Don Orco's head in exchange of shelter and a doctor. He further adds that it was Nero's idea and sends Cortio back to convey his message and plan. Nero and his men arrive at Fango's place, where they decide to capture Orco. The plan to get rid of Don Orco is carried out by Angelo, Nero, and his men. Angelo devises a strategy to eliminate Orco, and he visits Orco with Nero in his restaurant. Orco becomes surprised to see him and offers him a meal with his new booze. After taking a drink, Nero drops it on the table and offers a deal for his newly created alcohol. He proposes Orco to give him all the alcohol in exchange for a place to stay. Orco is intrigued by his offer and joins them at their alcohol manufacturing plant. Nero, however, has concocted a scheme to kidnap Orco. Nero men attack them as they enter the base, while Angelo acts to obtain revenge to win Orco's trust. After capturing Orco, they deliver him to Fang, who kills him and gains control of the family. Increasing pressure from Ronaldo and a prod from Angelo produce a divide within the Vanetti family. On the other hand, Ronaldo also has made Freight worried about that his brother Nero will kill him. Late that night, when Angelo realizes that Volpe is getting suspicious on his actions, Angelo devises a scheme to get rid of Volpe. The following day, Angelo and Volpe try to kill Freight and Ronaldo without Nero's knowing, and when they fail assassination, Angelo kills Volpe to make it clear that it was all Nero's fault. Freight thinks Nero was behind the plot, after he and his men discover the car with only Volpe inside. Freight hangs Volpe's body from Lawless Bridge as a message for Nero. Between Freight and Nero, a civil war breaks out. However, Angelo provokes the family, which results in the demise of Freight and Ronaldo. With her unborn child, Cleo departs from her mob family. Now that Freight is no longer and he is the only Vanetti alive, Nero declares that he would do everything it takes to ensure the survival of his father's empire. The new director of the Bureau of Prohibition takes tough measures against the squabbling families. Nero cautions Delphi multiple times, but he refuses to back down. And when Delphi begins to look into the Lawless Heaven Lodge after receiving the information from Fango, as Fango's mission is to destroy Vanetti family, Nero gives the order to kill his family. Delphi's family is not killed, but he abandons the inquiry because he is so horrified by the assassination attempt. Fango seeks to assassinate Nero using Cortio's betrayal, but when he fails, he makes an attempt to reveal to the Venettis who the traitor is, but Cortio brutally kills him, leaving no clues behind. When Cortio tries to escape the town, he is caught at the station. They torture him to speak the real intentions of attacking Nero, but he stays quiet. Afterwards, Serrato meets Angelo and tells him the reason that he wants to take Angelo out of this family politics, to which Angelo becomes surprised and goes to save Cortio. But luckily, Cortio somehow manages to escape on his own. Cortio calls Angelo for assistance in the middle of the night and tells him that he will be dead by the peasants who sent him the letter if he does not kill Nero. Meanwhile, Nero is made the next Don of Vanetti by Vincent, and after taking over he decides to expand his alcohol business by sending Angelo to Don Galacia's residence in Chicago. Meanwhile, Ganzo Vanetti appears to be the person who sent Angelo the message that day. Just before Angelo returns to his hometown on the way to a business agreement, Angelo tells Ganzo to set free Cortio, and if he refuses to do, then the secret letter will be sent to Nero by a certain man. Ganzo agrees to his offer and sets free Cortio. After that, they both depart for Chicago, but Angelo must come back to take his retribution. However, D is considered to have been responsible for Cortio's escape when he returns. Cortio then appears out of nowhere to save Angelo, as Barbaro is about to shoot him, and tells why he betrayed Nero. To demonstrate his commitment, Nero commands Angelo to murder Cortio. Later, as preparations are made for the major performance, Don Galacia and his nephew Striga come in Lawless for the Vanetti Playhouse's opening ceremony. The plan didn't work out, because even after Angelo killed Del Toro, Barbaro and Tigris saw him and took him to the basement where they read the letter. When Tigre tires to inform Nero, Barbaro forbids him and orders him to just alert Ganzo. Ganzo arrives at the basement, while Tigre reaches out to Nero and tells him about the situation. But as Ganzo wants to kill Nero and others as well, he kills Barbaro and let Angelo free to finish his task. After that, Angelo enters the place where Vincent and Galacia were sitting and kills Galacia, while Vincent is severely injured, but but eventually dies in Nero's hand. Intense gunfire breaks out between Lagusa and Venetti. Nero, in the meantime, kidnaps Angelo from Striga's bodyguards after discovering his whereabouts. After explaining everything to Nero, they depart Lawless to the Atlantic Ocean. And when Nero and Angelo arrives there, Nero shoots Angelo in the back and abandons him on the shore. As soon as he departs, one of Striga's men observes Nero without Angelo in the car. He tracks him down and returns him to Striga, where they treat Nero's wound. When he recovers, Striga informs him of everything that occurred while he was away and declares that he wants someone similar to him to take Ronaldo's place in the family. Angelo agrees when Striga asks that if he can kill a certain individual, he will be